Hey everybody, it's the Dynamite Show. Paul Fontaine, Jeff Hawkins here on Wednesday, right after Dynamite ended, but wrestling's still going on if you're not aware. Of course, if you're
I'm
listening on
watching
Thursday.
Darby Allin get beat down by every member of the BCC, and nobody's coming out to help him.
Because Darby has no friends. So what
Good
Jeff
Lord.
is describing happened on Collision, or is happening on Collision as we speak. We decided to record after Dynamite ended because this is the Dynamite Show, and because normally nothing really ever happens on Collision. Although I guess tonight is the exception. Excalibur, when Dynamite was over, they put up the credits, and he said, "Okay, stay tuned." I guess after the break, I don't know, or Collision will be starting shortly. Did not tell us that John Moxley would be appearing. Might have been a smart idea to do that. Maybe people wouldn't have shut off the show. I think the reason they did this is because of what happened last time, where the show just ended and people didn't know that they had to go back and log into Collision if they're watching on Max.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. And on here in Canada on TSN, the credits aired, and then we got a brief little like logo, and then Sports Center because it's on TSN. So I mean, it's over. Like I have to go to USA Network to watch Collision. So I do have Collision recording right now. I'll watch it later. If anything interesting happens, Jeff's got his eye on the screen. He can let us know. I guess Darby Allin's getting beat down right now, like he already did.
He's brought out the flag he took to Everest.
Oh, right, because he was going to wrap that around John Moxley's throat on Saturday. We'll talk about the show in a bit, but the build for this show has been leaving a little.
The show you're referring to is WrestleDream, correct?
Yes, WrestleDream, which is on Saturday, not Sunday, and it's Saturday night.
He just Darby brought out the flag, and Moxley just did the Death Rider to him on the flag.
Oh, great. Well, I guess logic booking tells you that means Darby's probably going over on Saturday.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's good. I guess that's what should happen. Garrett, who I do the Takedown show with, and who is the forefather, the patriarch of this network, has called this a B show that's coming up. And I don't know how you can do a B show when you're still charging the same price as you charge for whatever an A show is. Now, if you listen to Dave Meltzer, this card looks fantastic. This card looks amazing. I would say this card looked pretty good the first time I saw most of these matches, which was all pretty recently. This looks like just a supersized edition of Dynamite with matches we've already seen for the most part.
Let me cut you off there because my anger is building right now at something you just said.
Okay, go for it.
Dave Meltzer said this card looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel great to you, Paul?
No. I mean,
exactly.
The matches might be good.
I don't care.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, neither do I. That's my point.
I'm frustrated right now because this is the clarion call of the AEW apologists, is that they will tell me, well, the matches on paper look good. And it should be a good card with well-worked wrestling and cromulent technical proficiency. And I am just... We had a 10-minute Roddy Claudio match on this show that meant nothing. It meant nothing on this show. And
is that the match that was on when you texted me? Why are we watching this? Okay.
Yes.
I wasn't sure.
I'm just like, all I want. So, you ever talk to a woman who's very frustrated at dating men and wondering why they don't chase anymore? That is how I'm kind of watching this.
And you know what's going to happen is
not try to woo me into bed to buy this pay-per-view. Instead, they're doing the bare minimum.
They're probably going to announce a Claudio and Wheeler against Roddy and Kyle O'Reilly match for the pre-show. And that's what that match was. But at the time we were watching it, we didn't know. They didn't do anything afterwards. The match was over. Claudio walked out. Roderick Strong disappeared into thin air, and we moved. Do you want to tackle this super chat right now?
Sure. Yeah, let's do this. This is a good time. It'll calm me down a little bit.
Plethora, thank you very much for the super chat. Asks us, are Paul and Jeff as shocked at me that wrestling media like Observer and Fightful haven't covered the real All In attendance? Shocking to me.
Is this sarcasm? Hold on. I want to ask him a question. Is this sarcasm?
Yeah, Plethora, are you being sarcastic that you're shocked?
Yes.
Because I'm not.
No, neither am I.
No, because I said this. Like when that number originally came out, the assumption is always, the wrestling companies overinflate their numbers. And it's really normal to reinflate numbers. But
let me pause you right there.
Number is fact.
No. I need to pause you right there.
Oh, he is being sarcastic. Okay.
Yes, he's being sarcastic.
Okay.
But you said wrestling companies inflate their numbers. No, right. This will all be done through the prism of WWE inflates their numbers.
Well, my point was, though, when I said it last week was WWE will announce, 18,000 people were at Crown Jewel. And then Dave will immediately say, well, the Ticketmaster count was 14,900, so there really was only 14,900. And then if Brandon Thurston comes out and gives an audited number later, or Dave does, sometimes he does as well, he will report that. He did not report it in the Observer that the real number for All In came out. Not that I saw. Now, I did read about half the Observer. So if it was in the second half of the Observer, then I apologize. He did not mention it on Wrestling Observer Radio. I do know that. And it hasn't been aggregated really at all that I've seen. Other than I'm sure, like the Cult of Cornette people are talking about it, but I don't listen to that, so I don't know. So yeah, like it's something that WWE's always done, and now AEW's doing it. And I'm not going to trust Tony next time he says, "Oh, we're close to $1 million gate." Oh, so what does that mean? 625? I don't know.
Okay. Yes. No. There's it's in the Observer.
Is it? Okay. So it is. They did report on it. They're not really talking about it.
Well, it's through the lens of because of the subsidy they were supposed to get.
Correct.
It's because it's now less. It's not about. Oh, Megan Bain's on.
Yeah, she's wrestling.
Always a pleasure to see Megan Bain. Nevertheless, no, it's through the lens of they're getting less of a kickback from the city of Arlington because their attendance wasn't as much. It's not through the lens of they lied about attendance per se.
Right. And it's funny because I was behind on my audio and I was listening to Observer Radio from like maybe 2 days before that report came out. And for some reason, the subject of All In attendance came up. And it was actually me. I was on the show with Dave. And I said, in a lot of ways, that 28.5 that they got at Arlington is one of the most impressive numbers they've ever done. Little did I know that it was inflated by about 30%. So yeah, we're a little shocked. But hey, Fernando, what's up? So yeah, we're not shocked, I guess is the answer.
I'm a little shocked, but I'm not shocked that like it didn't become a hill for Dave to die on like he does on other things.
He just kind of let it go.
Yes.
Because I'll bet you Brian didn't even see this, or he would have talked about it a lot, I think. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe on like a Wrestling Observer Live, but I don't get a chance to listen to that all that often.
No, and I listen to it every day, and he didn't mention it.
Okay, so let's ask the bigger question then. I mean, Fightful, sure. I think Fightful will like Sean Ross Sapp in terms of talking about it would give you the facts and say this is what happened, but I don't think he
and it's fun, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think he'd give an opinion, and I don't think like he doesn't have analysts really anymore on any of his shows for the most part, other than maybe the Jimmy Van on the Hump.
Do you think anybody asked about this at the press conference tomorrow?
No.
No, I
God,
don't think
no.
so either.
Because they don't want to lose access, because that'll be the first thing that happens.
Yeah.
Okay. So big picture though. Should we be talking about it?
I don't think so. It's not. I mean, you know
Because,
what? They did a good
because
crowd.
we're also looking at this kind of through the prism of, well, Pontiac Silverdome number has never been true, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's one of these things where the one, and I talked about this on Shake Them Ropes a little bit. The prism to look this through is the good evil tribalism that goes through the minds of AEW fans, where WWE is the cold, heartless, lying liars who lie company, but Tony would never lie to us.
Well, we know that he does. So, I mean,
yes.
Should we talk about the fact that Santa Claus doesn't exist? Sorry if any kids are listening.
Well, we also talked about this a little bit last week in terms of this is a entertainment business based on deception.
Yeah, and it's PR, and
I'm going to say this though, but when it comes to up and down facts, not necessarily things about talent or angles or things you want to do, but attendance, to me, I don't think you should be lying about that on the whole. I think you should be honest about these things. I think you should say, hey, because if you're lying to everybody else, you're going to be lying to yourself too, in some ways. And to me, it's like, oh, things are much better than they actually are because this was the number in the building compared to this was the number of tickets sold. You start rationalizing things. And for people in the entertainment industry, once you start rationalizing, you can then rationalize anything.
Yeah. And the other thing I just thought of too was a lot of people, and I know Garrett, who we talked about earlier, was one of them, had said going in that he thinks that this show would only be a success if they did over 25,000. Otherwise they should have just done it in an arena.
So there was a number in the zeitgeist out there.
Yes. And Garrett does Wrestling Observer Radio with Dave, and that subject came up a lot. They wanted
to clear that imaginary bar, and they lied to do it, and now they didn't. And now
retroactively was that show a failure?
Now you would force those people to ask, is it a success or a failure, wouldn't you?
Right. And I always said going in, anything over 20, I think, was a success. Because not only did they do 20, they also did a $1.3 million gate. Nobody's questioning that. And that's a big number, regardless of what you say. That's a big number
I just question the strategy of running a stadium show when you're not a stadium product. That to me is the big thing to me.
Well, I guess that's how you find out whether or not you're a stadium product. Because they did sell 50,000 and 80,000 to Wembley. So, and they did a great job building that show. I'm not gonna deny that. I thought they did a great job building up Allin.
Okay, but that's foreign audiences hungry for American product, really. And whether you like it or not, okay, fine. They have British and Australian wrestlers. I get it, etc. Mm-hmm. And Japanese on top. Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, you could always just move your shows overseas like WWE does, just so you get the rabid crowds that want this entertainment. And it seems like and then you can make the illusion that it's a hotter product.
Yeah, and then you also create demand in the US because now they want the big shows because you're only doing your big shows in Europe. So now we want a big show.
Okay. I mean, I think that's part of the strategy of WWE right now, to be honest with you. I think
for sure.
They're putting these weird little fun pay-per-views, despite the fact that this was Crown Jewel, quote unquote. It wasn't Crown Jewel, but this was a B pay-per-view in Australia. And
hell of a show.
Yeah, it was a fun little pay-per-view. It was
as opposed to the other one they propped up, which was not a hell of a show. We got a show tonight. We got two shows tonight, although we're only going to talk about one of them. Although we'll mention Collision if anything interesting happens. They advertised a show. They told us a bunch of matches that were going to happen, although they weren't super clear on what was going to happen on what show. Although I think when I did the preview for this show, I nailed everything that was actually going to be on Dynamite. So I feel proud of myself for that. I mentioned the Darby Mox face-off. I mentioned Tony and Chris. I mentioned the Trios title match. And I think there's one other one that I assumed would be on the show, and it was. So I'll take my props for that. And yeah, so we got this show. Now, the show was in Kansas City, I believe.
Kansas City, yes.
Yeah. 2,239 in the building. It sounded like about 1/10 of that at times. And they did 3,600 2 years ago in the same building. So for Dynamite. So, and it was almost exactly, because it was October 10th, 2023. So it was literally like almost exactly 2 years ago. So they're down. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's probably because of the Big Data Plus. I assume that's why their attendance is down too. Obviously not. And the tickets for Saturday are not selling well either. I think the last I saw was like 4,000, maybe it might be more than that. But
where is WrestleDream at?
St. Louis, Chavez
Missouri.
Center, I believe. It's the Chavez Center. Yeah, and they didn't draw well last time they went there either. So the Show Me State is not showing them. That was weak.
It was weak.
Yeah.
It's college football season. I wouldn't expect it to be hot in the Midwest or the South necessarily, but it's also one of those things where it's just like, yes, we built this show to show you we're going to have good matches on Saturday.
Yeah.
Like,
and Dynamite too. Like if you were going to buy a ticket to Dynamite, what are you buying a ticket for?
I'm hoping to see some, to get me to want to go to the pay-per-view. That's why I would probably go to this Dynamite.
Fair enough. Yeah. They did advertise a Kenny Omega match, teaming with Jack Perry, which was a choice. And
maybe a hot angle going into it, because sometimes sometimes wrestling companies would actually have a hot angle going into a pay-per-view. I know that might shock
all the big stars that are currently not out were advertised for the show in some form.
Yes, so if you consider these people stars, they were there.
But they were only advertised on Saturday. So, like even last Wednesday, we didn't know. Now you can assume, I think at this point, you can assume all the big stars are going to be on, most of the shows. So, there is that.
No, you can't. You need to tell people this.
No, you don't have to, because at this point, Tony Storm's always going to be on. Moxley is always going to be there, probably wrestling. Hangman's always going to be there. Tony Storm's always going to be there. Like, that. Come on, Jeff.
Yeah, but what will they be doing? Let me know these.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. WWE never does that. WWE never tells us what any of them are doing. But then again, they're WWE. They don't need to. The AEW needs to.
They're going to be doing something in the angle with the. Right. It's going to be a 50-50 thing. We're going to see them 20 times before the actual pay-per-view match. We know that you and I know the formula, and I think most WWE fans know what they're going to get here. Oh, Hangman's going to be there.
He's going to be watching his monitor and
he's going to be
making occasional comments. Yeah. Oh, that was a whole lot of nothing. Yeah.
We'll talk about that when we
All right.
it. Yes, let's get to this show, please.
So I do like at the very beginning of the show, Excalibur spent some time running down the card. Although he was also, they were going back and forth between matches that were going to be on tonight and matches that were going to be on Saturday. And Excalibur lost his place a couple times and mentioned a match that might be tonight. And then he would, that's Saturday. And like, it was a bit of a mess, but they did have graphics. So if you weren't listening and just watching, you actually knew some stuff is happening tonight. Some stuff is happening Saturday. Excalibur, that was not his best 5 minutes at the beginning of this show, but and the other thing I'll point out is that they did have, like, I assume this was up for the crowd, because you could hear some reaction to what was going on, but certainly not a lot. Like certain announcements had more reactions than others, but most of them were like, that's what you were hearing. Like it was very, like it was there, but it was very subdued.
What is the sound of one hand clapping? Oh, I can do that,
yeah,
Lisa.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So it was but they they told us, and eventually they got to what you get to see later tonight. And then we go right to Renee Paquette with a segment they called Famous Last Words with Tony Storm and Chris Statlander. She thanks them for no physicality. They start taking off clothes, and Renee decides to join in the party and takes off her clothes, and then she gets mad. And then Tony says, "It's not you, it's me. I thought I'd feel freedom. I felt nothing. My canvas went black. My heart starts beating when I dream of winning it back. I am that title. I did what no one else has done. If that means fighting at my absolute best to take it away, I'll do that. I don't know who I am without that title, but darling, who are you?" And Statlander
All right,
says,
pause.
"Okay.
Because I want to go through this beat by beat, or at least
Okay.
one person, then the next person.
Okay.
Tony Storm's allowed to do this kind of promo because she's a character. She is not somebody who actually exists in a real universe right now. She exists in her own head, and this is what that character is. So if you're wondering why I'm not tearing Tony a new one for this one, it's because this is her character and she's playing it, and it's fine. Now, on the other hand...
Well, Chris Statlander is an alien again. I don't know if you've noticed.
Chris Statlander said something that literally made me yell, earmuffs for 5 seconds, kids, if you don't like swearing. Oh, go fuck yourself.
Okay.
And I don't usually get that mad at this, but
I hope I caught that line, because I did write down some stuff.
Okay, right, go for it.
She says, "You let this loss cause you to lose yourself. Remember who you've been. You can't figure me out. I constantly evolve. I'm a culmination."
That's the line. That's
Okay.
the line that set me off right there. I constantly evolve. Woman, you have been in the same dumbass feud with Willow Nightingale for 8 months now, doing this stupid Wheeler Yuta crap. You haven't evolved on anything. Don't give me that shit.
And she said this at the time, by the way, that Evolve was running head to head with their first ever PLE. I'm joking. Nobody watched that.
Shout out to Kendall Gray. Again, okay, I have Tony as a character. I just want Chris to talk from the heart and say something about what it means to be champion now.
She was remembering a script here, word for word.
Yes. Oh my God. And it felt like it. And it just, and it was just like, I'm ramming my head against my coffee table going, please make this stop. Just somebody talk to somebody like they're an actual effing human being in this thing. But everybody's doing their own bit and none of them are connecting.
So she goes on to say, "It's a culmination of everything I was before. I'm already a different person from the person you faced it all out. We are living
Bullshit.
in this."
She is not a different person from the person that she is the same damn person wearing the old makeup that she used to have, trying to tell you she's a different person. She's a fraud. I hate her. Go.
"We are living in this world and I'm the champion of it. I'm an extraordinary being. I'm a killer as dangerous as the cosmos are large." That's an NXT line right there. "The most deserving, no matter what timeline. And Tony, after Saturday, I'll give you the rest you so deeply deserve." Tony says, "Wrestling is a lie that reveals the truth. At WrestleDream, we will find out the truth." "Tony, you know the truth. Just accept it." Then she looks at Renee and she says, "This interview over?" And Renee's like, "Yeah, whatever." She says,
even Renee couldn't even bother with this bullshit that was on.
"Good, meet me in the ring." So they both leave. Renee just has this pissed off look on her face and she says, "Somebody get me my jacket." And it's like, why did you take it off? Like, I don't understand any of this. And
because everybody else was taking clothes off, so she felt the need to take clothes off too. I have no idea why. It was just a dumb sight gag that somebody thought, oh, that'll be funny. When I don't want funny in this.
They go to the ring and they take off more clothes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not joking here. Like, Tony was in a bustier by the time this was over. Statlander was wearing like what looked like a tracksuit of some sort. And they start brawling. And then Tony hands her the belt and stands there in front of her with her on her knees, with her hands behind her back. Stat puts the belt down, and Tony headbutted her, then gave her a German suplex. And then Statlander handed her the belt and put her hands behind her back, and she's about to hit her, and then she just puts it on her shoulder and kisses her forehead, and that's that. That's your go-home angle for Tony and Chris at WrestleDream.
Do they like each other?
I believe they do. Yes, I believe they love and respect each other in a non-sexual
I believe
way.
Well, see, I believe they're trying to play up the sexualism in this thing, and I think it's not working because you want this to be a title feud. Oh, I do.
Oh, really? I think they are deliberately going out of their way not to do that, actually. But maybe
why are they all taking off clothes then?
Because they want to fight, and it's easier to fight when you're not wearing clothes. I don't know. I was baffled. I don't think it's got anything to do with sex.
You know what? I stood back on that one, and I was going to wait to see if you dug your hole, and then you started to say dig up, and you said, I can't dig up. I'm in this hole already. So I'm going to go with
No, I mean, I'm like you. I have no idea why, but I don't think it has anything to do with sex.
This is such a dumbass feud. I hate this thing. We had a chance to reboot Statlander or something interesting. Instead, she's going back to doing goofy shit.
She starts flopping again. I don't know. Okay, Jason agrees with you. He thinks it's sexualized. Fernando thought it was a fun segment. Okay, there you go. I
will let Fernando have his fun.
He may not want to hear what we have to say about the Moxley Darby segment later. Just make it a bold prediction here. Then we go to another video package, and Jack Perry's cutting wood. And he says it's going to be the Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks at WrestleDream. And I'll be honest, I don't hate you, if I'm being honest. I love you guys. I'm always going to be grateful for everything you did for me. When I needed you most, though, you didn't pick up the phone. When I needed you most, you didn't have my back. So I found someone from deep in my past who would. And then camera pans over to Luchasaurus and he growls. And that was that.
Paul.
This was for everybody that says they didn't explain why Jack Perry's mad at the Bucks. They still haven't.
Paul. I don't hate you. I love you, and I thank you. No, you hate him. You hate them for not picking up the phone. How hard is it?
When did he not pick up the phone? This is what I don't understand. What is he talking about? What is he talking about?
Something on BTE where they called in the middle of a segment and they decide not to pick up the phone.
No. I think what they're talking about. I think what he's talking about is the fact that Tony Khan iced him for 7 months, and Jack Perry was calling them, trying to get back on the show, and Matt and Nick weren't picking up the phone.
They did a literal sight gag once where Jack Perry's phone is calling the Young Bucks and they don't take the call. BTE, yes.
Oh my God.
They're referring to a BTE segment. Yes, this is a literal BTE angle.
Oh my God. And somehow Tony Khan is giving them $500,000 to fight.
Well, it continues the wacky sketch comedy of one buck likes to go to the casinos and play the slots.
Nick, that would be.
I don't care. Slots.
I'm going in a couple weeks. I might see Nick there. I'm going to Vegas.
No, you will not.
I won't. You don't think?
No, because they go to crappy casinos in Orlando and stuff. They don't. Gotcha. They'd go to Laughlin before they went.
I did see Nick at a casino on it was Double or Nothing 2022, I think. When that whole stuff with MJF was going down. Yes. Yeah, it was me and Steve Garmer and Lisa Gifford and what's her name? I'm drawing a blank on. Oh God!
Is this when you were playing blackjack with the guns and they were running?
No, that was a different year. That was 2 years later. No, this was they were like right by us, and Brandon Cutler was walking behind them filming. It was pretty surreal.
You know what I've noticed? Hold on, I have a random noticing thing because I'm watching this, and the Acclaimed are on right now doing.
Oh my God! No! Are you serious?
Yes, we're playing up personality things, and that's not a bad thing. it's very NXT in terms of here's your one note, play it really hard, and there's no depth to it.
What does that have to do with the pay-per-view, by the way?
Well, this is Collision. It shouldn't have anything to do with the pay-per-view.
Oh, okay. So then why'd they put the Moxley thing on there?
Probably trying to keep people watching after it.
Then why didn't they tell us they put the Moxley on there?
Well, they're going. Well, hold on, let me explain to you. They're going against what they did last time. They had a 3-hour show where they put all the heavy stuff on that third hour, and nobody gave a damn because they're already done with the first 2 hours.
Well, tonight I think that they didn't tell us that Moxley was going to be on later, and they ended the show, so I think it's going to have the same effect. Just a prediction, not a spoiler. All right, next up we get GOA against. Actually, this is like the first match. I don't know how long we were into the show here, but it was GOA, not the Gates of Agony anymore. They lost their names. They are just GOA against Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. Ricochet was at ringside wearing an Eagles shirt because they were in Kansas City. They went through a break.
Yeah, but he's been wearing the Eagles stuff for months now. That's his team. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Remember when he had that obnoxious giant hat that was an Eagles hat?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, you're right. I didn't even. Well, maybe they've been in a lot of places where, well, actually everywhere but Kansas City, or everywhere but Philly doesn't like the Eagles.
But, yeah, pretty much. So that's also why he wears it. But I believe he is an Eagles fan. Yes.
Okay. Probably didn't wear it in Philly, is my guess. Mm-hmm. So the fans were more into this than they were into the women. I should point out, when the women were in the ring, there was like no reaction to anything they were doing, which is bizarre because people love Tony. Well, although. I mean, this is a couple weeks now because remember they were giving her the what treatment before too. Maybe she's cool enough a bit. I don't know. I'm told she's still one of the biggest stars in wrestling.
She's not doing the gimmick that got her to the dance though. She's changed the gimmick. She's not doing the silent film star with the makeup thing. She's changed it almost to.
What is she now? Like I don't even know.
I want to say Clockwork Orange, but I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. Anyways, they showed some ticket dates and it looked like they're going to be doing like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 shows in a row in Texas coming up soon, including
another residency.
No, different cities. They always seem to go to Texas in like late November, early December. Maybe just because the weather's better. I don't know. But they're doing 2 shows back to back in Houston, which I noticed. One Dynamite, one Collision. I gotta think that's the building NXT just ran, and not like a big building. Otherwise,
non-union production.
Maybe, but it's only like 2 shows. So, but it is a live Collision on a Saturday that they're doing. I think it's like the first week of November or something. Okay. And then MVP wiped out Ricochet with his cane, and then Khan pinned Benjamin in the ring. I didn't even see what he did. I was kind of like paying attention to these on sale dates and wasn't really watching the match. So.
Ricochet interfered, gave him a spear to help, and then they did their finisher on it.
So Ricochet interfered. That's what caused the pin, but then MVP wiped out Ricochet immediately. So like it was right after the interference. So it was kind of jumbled around, but I almost wonder if maybe is it possible that MVP like ends up with this crew and like Bobby leaves and Shelton's on his own. I don't know. There's something happening here.
It's very possible.
Excuse me, I got a cough here.
Okay. And while he's coughing, we have yet another 6-man involving the Callis family.
Callis family. Yeah, they advertise that. There's a lot of 6-man matches.
Yeah.
And Don Callis said at one point in one of these matches that he has 25 people in his family and he can just keep bringing them. So they showed highlights of a confrontation at New York Comic Con. They showed this on Collision too, and it was kind of low rent. It just looked completely, totally 1000% like a wrestling angle. Sometimes these things like come off a little bit more organic than what this was. This was not organic at all. This was just, they started brawling. They brawled to the back. It was like 15 seconds. The lighting was terrible. The sound was terrible, and it was over.
These things haven't been organic since the CM Punk Rey Mysterio thing.
They did one. It was Darby and Brody somewhere in Seattle. That one looked cool. I remember. Yeah. And then there was another one where I think somebody was talking at a Comic-Con and someone interrupted and they got into an argument.
That's the Punk Rey one.
Oh, was that Punk and Rey? Okay. Yeah, that one was good. And Tony Khan was there. I should point that out as well. And they cut to the announcers after this, and Bryan Danielson says he does not condone what Darby and Moxley have been doing to each other.
Hold on. I just, I wonder sometimes. Like, you're at a Comic-Con, you have your booth set up, and you're watching these wrestling guys do that thing. You're like, God, do you think it's cool, or do you think it's just like, why do I have to deal with this pro wrestling stuff in the middle of my comic book convention?
A little bit, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's one of those things where I just like it, I think it could be. Never mind. I think it's kind of played its course. Figure out other things.
One thing I didn't mention about that tag match, and they did point this out and made a big deal about it. Shelton took the pin, and it's the first time. They said it's the first time that Hurt Syndicate has been pinned in an AEW ring, which was not true because MVP was pinned, and he's part of Hurt Syndicate. But it was the first time Shelton Benjamin, as part of the team,
in a 2-on-2 tag, it's the first time.
Correct. Yes, that is correct. Yeah. So Bobby Lashley still has not laid down, and probably never will. That's just a prediction.
Hey, Bandito and Mark Briscoe tried to get Brody King to do the Macarena.
They did, yeah. I feel like my prediction is going to come true. That Bandito injury was a total work. So yeah. So I think we're going to see that Brody attack on Bandito, ripping out his shoulder that I predicted last week. I feel like that's coming. Right. Yeah. So earlier today at an undisclosed location, Jon Moxley and Darby Allin had face-to-face. Looked like they were in a jail cell. I think they were. There was glass separating them. There was spooky music playing through all this. So Jon Moxley's on one side of the glass, Darby Allin's on the other side. And John starts off and he says, heck of a situation we got going on here. So let's make sure that we understand the implications of an I Quit match. In Toronto, there was zero chance you were going to be putting me in a coffin. Let's be honest. This game was rigged. Well, this game coming up is rigged as well in both directions. You're never going to quit. I'm certainly not going to quit. So what are we going to do, man? I'm out of ideas. What do you want to do? How's this going to end? If you want to be on the right side of history, though, it's never too late. And Darby says, it is, John. I wish I could, but I can't. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about joining the Death Riders. But I understand the cost of what you're trying to do. It's you I don't respect. This is about Bryan Danielson. I saw what you did with him. Why should I go to war with someone who will stab his brother in the back without a second thought? And when you do something like that to someone that you consider family, John says, are we still talking about Bryan? I did the best I could for him. This is a war for the future of our sport, of our craft. Sacrifices need to be made. Hard decisions need to be made. You think that isn't tough? You don't know what sacrifice is. What having that weight of the world on your shoulder is. None of you do. Darby says, when I was on top of Everest and held that flag on top of the world, I saw that AEW represents freedom. You're chipping away at everything that makes this place special. I'll hang that flag in my house, and it'll remind me of everything AEW gave me. But before I do that, I'm going to wrap it around your throat when you say the words, I quit. And everybody, your Death Riders are going to realize that your word doesn't mean a thing, and your whole operation will come tumbling down. And Mox says, might not mean anything to you, but I never lied to you. Your opponent is not me. Never has been. Every time you go to the ring, you climb a mountain, you set yourself on fire, you're fighting the ghost demons of your past. That's none of my business. I played that game. It doesn't end well. Chasing highs, trying to prove to the world you're indestructible. That's a selfish game, and I'm not selfish. That's the biggest difference between me and you. This is not about me. And then immediately he gets attacked from behind in his little corner of the jail cell by Pac. Pac just beats the living shit out of him, throwing him against walls, slams him into the glass, and just presses his face in the glass. Blood like falling down the thing. And Mox just watches. He gets up and he walks away. And that was that. It was something.
My first question was, so it's about Pac?
I guess.
This could have been so good. and then it got into everything I don't like. Nobody gives two absolute shits about the mythos of what the Death Riders is about, because they haven't been going after it for any point in time. And who was the last act? Who was the last act that doesn't live up to Jon Moxley's standards that they went after to take out, not to join their crew, but to take out? No, and there's
Swerve?
plenty of those on here. Well, they never said what Swerve, why he was bad for the industry. They just kind of took him out. See, therein lies the difference. you can have your gang, but if your ethos is, well, we're doing this to save pro wrestling, you need to tell me what about pro wrestling is bad about the guys that you're targeting. Kind of. Okay, fine, we get to that.
Yeah, why is he buddies with the Bucks? Like, yeah.
Yes, because the Bucks should be the first people. You and your dumb YouTube videos and your comedy, you're dead. I want you dead. I want you out of this company. But no. And then instead of this being a feud between Moxley and Darby and the things that they don't like about each other, it's for the future of professional wrestling and the love of a corporation. Oh, well, AEW loves me.
Darby's been doing the media rounds this week, and he's just been pounding that AEW drum. I mean, as he should. He's happy where he is.
That stuff is fine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say, because he should be doing the hard sell of AEW on the media round.
But that's also now part of the story. That's my point. That's
the problem. That's the thing. Yeah. I don't
see, because when Darby, like, I don't think Darby, when he does that, like, I don't know that Darby like differentiates between storyline and reality,
because he can't. He's not allowed to say, yeah, WWE doesn't want me because I'm too dangerous and because I'm too small for them, because what they want is 6'3" guys on steroids.
Well, no, he's saying I don't want to go there because, you know, I know.
Yes, it's all kayfabe. It's all kayfabe stuff. It's all the behind the scenes, fourth wall breaking things about professional wrestling that we shouldn't be talking about on a wrestling show.
Yeah, and meanwhile, WWE gets fun of, we make movies, and meanwhile they just did like a 10-minute little mini movie here.
I didn't mind the concept. I mean, let them talk at each other, but this is no longer personal. This is an esoteric, inner struggle of Darby and his relationship to the professional wrestling business. And, you're like, all right, great. This is Tony Soprano waking up in the hotel room being a salesman at the conference.
And
struggling with his identity?
Did this segment make you want to see Moxley versus Darby?
No, it made me wonder what Pac's beef with Darby is in this feud. Because
Fernando, it worked for him. He said this is an excellent story. So there you go. I assume Fernando's going to buy the pay-per-view. I already bought the pay-per-view because I bought a bundle that included.
I like the feud itself. I don't like what the feud is about, because
I'm not looking forward to this match. I'll be honest. Like, I'm worried about what these two are going to do to each other.
The perfect story is in there, though. Both you and Fernando, I want to say, neither of us are going to quit because we're both so bullheaded and crap that we'll refuse to let ourselves quit. The problem with that is Moxley's already done matches like this where he won't tap out. He'll just go to sleep. Okay. What it needs to be about is what happens to your self-respect if you say I quit. Because both guys have this in them. Darby with the Everest climbing, Moxley with his own thing about not wanting to go to WWE and whatever, re-sign and come back, and what he wants wrestling to be and all this other stuff. But also just within the whole AEW world itself, what does it mean to you if you say I quit? And then we can go from there. That's the problem.
Crazy Head summarizes it pretty good. Curry Head summarized it pretty good. Both
Right.
will not quit because they both are so crazy and stubborn at the same time that we're going to have to kill each other to win the match. That is the storyline.
Yes, but what we're going to get is the Tully Blanchard. I didn't say I quit. I just said yes or something like that.
We don't do that.
I think we are, man. I think Moxley is giving up, but he's gonna hold the mantle of I didn't say I quit.
If he does say I quit, the next step of this, and the next step is it has to be that the Death Riders turn on him.
Yes,
that has to be the story, like because they bought into this. Yes, they bought into this, and he just let them down. So
you know what? I'll give you a pop culture reference. It becomes The Rock. Yeah. After Ed Harris goes, we have to surrender now. Wait, what are you talking about? We've ruined our careers to take over this and get the money, and then they turn on him. Yes, it would absolutely have to be. Yeah.
Greg says someone's gonna have to pass out Austin style. I don't know that can happen. I think
you know what? I think they do that. I think he passes out, but they don't end the match.
He has to wake him up to say he quits, and that's it.
Somebody throws in the towel for him.
Oh, they can't do that.
They can't do that.
No. So I don't know. Like, I'm interested to see how this ends, but I really, really am not looking forward to seeing what they do to each other. That much I can say.
This match is going to get uncomfortable.
I believe it will. Yes. Claudio and Roderick Strong. Crowd couldn't care less about this. Neither could I. Before this, I gotta say. So after that mini movie, we got a shot from outside the arena, and it was the Death Riders arriving, but it was only Jon Moxley, Marina, and Pac, and they were wandering around outside, and that is the last we saw of them on Dynamite. Now, obviously, they did show up on Collision, but I don't know what happened to them. They got lost, I guess. Because they did not make it to the ring.
We have to have the cool student film entrance of the member of the Death Riders, which is Claudio.
Yeah, which
has great. I love his music, by the way. I do.
Yeah. So yeah, he did his entrance, and he comes out. It's him and Roderick Strong, and crowd didn't care. I didn't care. They went through a break. They did a move off the top rope. It was like a backbreaker by Roddy or something, and Tony Schiavone referenced Kota Ibushi's injury, and they mentioned it several times tonight, which I thought, I don't know why. Like, I don't know what they, accomplished by reminding us that Kota Ibushi had a horrific injury that they decided to air on TV. And Roddy, so it's funny because I started writing down stuff that was happening because I really didn't care anything about this match before the break. And then after the break, I wrote down the backbreaker, and then Claudio hits an uppercut, and I was, and I'm going to write, Roddy kicks out. Nope. This actually worked. Like, he's hit this move a million times. I don't think he's ever pinned anyone with it. And here he pinned him. So that's not a complaint. I don't know.
It's not. I wouldn't see the Kota Ibushi thing. I would have kayfabed it. I would have said, you know what? Maybe they did something to him in the back before the match or something to that effect. And then have Mark Davis be the guy responsible for putting him for doing that. As he comes out and they show, that was the good part. They tried to do something afterwards. The part is they go, he was injured during that fall on the match. It's like, well, okay, great.
Yeah, it was not great. But yeah, so the match ends and then they just leave. Like, they pointed out that it was win number 100 for Claudio. Good for him. And the Excalibur was sure to point out that no Death Riders were involved, and Bryan Danielson said, that almost never happens. And then I'm waiting. I'm expecting some sort of an angle of maybe why did this match happen? And then it just ended.
I'm gonna fight Fernando a little bit here. This Roddy is boring. Roddy himself as a dick heel is possibly the most compelling heel they have on the roster, other than maybe MJF.
But he never
Don
gets
Callis.
to do that.
But he never gets to do it because he's small, and I think
because he found that Kyle, thing. And
yes, he found the thing to make. He found the thing that made the producer laugh. So we have to do that now. Yeah.
And there is a nugget of something there. Like, he could theoretically take over the Death Riders. Let
him. become PWG Roddy Strong and watch it go. The problem is they're afraid of that kind of heat, and he has gone over the line. In PWG where he did
him and Marina could be a pretty cool act. Like
yes,
yeah.
If Marina was doing for Roddy what she's doing for Moxley, it could be a cool act.
Yeah. Next, we went to a video. Now, Excalibur, before this aired, said earlier today this happened. Did you catch that?
Yes.
Okay. Earlier today, keep that in mind. The odious Don Callis celebrated a birthday. Now, I immediately remembered, I am positive I saw this segment on social media 3 days ago. And maybe it was longer ago than that.
What?
Yeah.
No.
So he shows up and the family's at the table singing to him. And I noted that they're not all there, but I did note who was there. Clone, Josh Alexander, Kyle Fletcher, Kazuchika Okada, Lance Archer, and Trent. So for those keeping score, no Mark Davis, no Wardlow, no Andrade, no Takeshita. By the way, they have not Andrade's like they have not mentioned him since he returned. Like they replayed that attack he did on Kenny right after the match, but it's been 2 weeks now and no mention of Andrade. So that's kind of weird. But yeah, so there was
re-debut. I'm hoping he comes back on the pay-per-view, but I don't think he will.
Well, I don't think Kenny's even on the pay-per-view, is he?
Unless no, he's not.
Yeah.
No.
So he says that I'm here for you guys. People are asking me about growing numbers of the family. We're doing this for power. We're doing this to protect the interests of our family. Numbers are power. I don't like terms like work stoppage and picket lines. That was an interesting line you threw in there. I'll do whatever it takes to get what this family needs. My promise and my gift to every one of you. And Kyle interrupts him. He says, well, speaking of a gift, we got a gift for you, Don. And he unleashes a thing. I'm expecting a painting. And no, it's at first I thought it was a woman on the screen. But it was Takeshita. But the angle was weird. Like it was just his face and his long hair.
It wasn't well lit. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm sorry I couldn't be there today, but I want to tell you happy birthday. You've done so much for my career. I promise to you that I will win the IWGP title for you and for the Don Callis family. And I'm like, wait a second. They said this was earlier today. And I watched Inosuke Takeshita win the title on Monday.
I think he may have said earlier. I think I might be
No,
wrong.
he said earlier today.
Well, then he screwed up, obviously.
Yes, he did. And but he promised that he's going to win the world title for you. So this clearly took place before Monday. And then Okada, quote unquote, accidentally shuts off the TV, and Don Callis.
Oh, there's no accident about how he shut off.
No, I know.
Yeah,
he lifted up the remote.
Oh yeah,
and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I pressed the wrong button."
I needed Elite Okada right there. Oh, I'm so sorry, and just really playing it up, like he didn't mean to, or something like that, and then just like giving everybody the finger or something like that effect.
And then Callis just says, "It's all good, boss." And then he says, "How about a toast? Of course, to family." And they all lift up their glasses and toast. And this was fine. I mean, I'm not exactly sure why it aired, but
this is what I want in pro wrestling, Paul.
Okay, but
I want this kind of. No, it doesn't matter. I want this world building. I want that the family, that the Don Callis family are friends. And yes, they go out and they have a business plan and they celebrate things.
Fernando brings up that they should win the tag championships. Did they mention their match at all in this segment?
No,
they did not.
But I would agree with Fernando if they weren't playing up so heavily the breakup. That's the thing is the breakup need to not be so obvious. Like I'd love to see these guys as a team. God, they'd be awesome.
Yeah,
and let them go for it for a while.
They're both singles champions now, so I don't know how exactly they defend those titles and the tag team titles at the same time, and who takes a loss. Like it would just be really tough. Like I think
What you needed was a Hurt Syndicate like build where these two come in. Okay, we had the bickering, but they find out they're a really good team, and then they just start running roughshod through the tag division, and then the fractures start to show up.
Yeah.
And then we're dying for the breakup. See, we didn't get the foreplay on this. We went straight to the sex.
John asked if they mentioned any matches besides Darby and John. Yeah, of course they did that one segment for Tony and Chris, but that was it, I think. Yeah, that's all they mentioned. Well, no, Gates and Agony and Hurt Syndicate. They mentioned that as well, because they had that match. See, the problem is that they don't do what WWE does, and like at least 3 times on the go home show, they run down the whole card. Like they don't.
The hard sell is not there, and you want it. And I want to know where can I order this show, guys?
Wow. Yeah, they didn't really do that as much this time. 2-man power trip. Yeah, well, they don't want to tell you that. All right. And so they did show highlights of Takeshita winning the IWGP World title from Zack Sabre Jr. on Monday. That was cool. Like a little 1-minute video package. So yeah, he is the new IWGP World Champion. And I assume the Continental Classic is probably going to come down to those two. And and then maybe Takeshita and Okada at the Tokyo Dome. I don't know. Oh no. You know what? No, it's Hiroki Goto. That's the match for Tokyo Dome.
I need a championship celebration next week.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get it. Unless they win the tag belts. Then we get Callis out there doing his intros. And so the highlights of his intros were the dingo didn't eat your baby. It was Mark Davis. He called Josh Alexander the greatest technical wrestler in the history of the great country of Canada. Excalibur took exception to that, but he didn't point. I think they were getting at the fact that it might be Bret Hart. Or Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
He said the man who snapped Ibushi's leg like a twig and the walking weapon of Josh Alexander. Then he says, "Solo no este sono from the great country of Mexico, Los Cabreses, muy loco e muy caliente, yo soy hechicero." He almost died.
I loved this intro. I love Hechicero being a big deal. I love him doing the whole thing with the hands.
Yeah, and then the camera focuses on him as his blood vessels are exploding.
And I actually love the cherry on top when Excalibur tells you what he really said. The goat who is really hot or something like that. Like he's saying incorrect Spanish. I'm kind of here for that. I really do like this bit quite a bit.
I don't understand much Spanish, but I do understand enough to know that he made no sense. So
right.
Yeah. So we got the match. It was Alexander and Mark Davis and Hechicero against Kenny Omega and the Jurassic Express. And they did show a little video clip earlier of how this tag team came to be. And to their credit, Kenny Omega is not super into this. Like, he does not trust Jack Perry. And if you saw the segment on Collision,
I saw the segment and I didn't like it.
Jack Perry comes in and
two guys weren't talking to each other again.
He says, "Kenny, I'm really sorry for what happened to your friends." It's like, I mean, it was cute. Like, I'll give him that. And Kenny is like, and then later on, he's like, "Well, like, I feel like I need to do this because," and then Kenny just stops. I don't give a shit what you feel.
That part was good.
Okay,
let me get to my problem then with this. Okay, so he doesn't trust Jack Perry, but he stopped short with the Bucks again, and the Bucks were with Jack Perry when they jumped. So this whole thing doesn't make sense.
No, it does not make any sense at all. Even though people will try to tell me it does, and it's probably because they watch BTE. But the crowd was super into Kenny, but then they kind of weren't, and then it was kind of off and on. Early on, we got Kenny fighting 1-on-3 early. Callis pointed out here that he had a family of 25 and he can bring whoever he wants. And they plugged another Callis Trio family match later tonight. Perry finally made a hot tag, gets a mild reaction, but he only did like one move and then he tagged into the dinosaur. And I thought, oh, okay, that's going to be the story of this match. And nope, it wasn't. And then even Danielson pointed out that he didn't do much when he was in the ring and Kenny shouldn't trust him. But then he tagged in, and he took a beating for a while. Went through a break, and he was the one on, taking a beating the whole time. They come back. Alexander had an ankle lock on. Davis put Luchasaurus, pulls Luchasaurus out. Hechicero tried with Kenny. Kenny fought him off. He's pacing around at the outside while Perry is getting beat on. And Perry's reaching for a tag. And then finally Kenny gets up on the apron and accepts the tag. And that got a big pop. And then Omega ran wild. And eventually they got to the key point in the match. And it was, trying to find it here. Because I remember what happened, but I'm trying to remember the sequence of events. And so what happened was, well, basically, Jack Perry took a bullet for Kenny. He was about to get hit by something, and Perry jumped in the way and took the pin, and then took the beating, and then eventually Kenny tagged in Perry. They did a doomsday on Hechicero, with Luchasaurus, and got the pin. So yeah,
and I think this is also why we haven't seen Andrade, is because they want the Jack Perry Kenny Omega story to play out. There's no use for him to come to TV otherwise, unless you want.
Why did you do the Andrade thing?
I come because you had him, because you could immediately sign him and he'd be a surprise.
But then you wasted an angle, and yeah,
yes.
So we've had Okada, the Bucks, Jack Perry, Kyle Fletcher, Josh Alexander, and Andrade all take out Kenny Omega at different points, and Kenny doesn't care about any of it. Kenny is not. Why do you do angles to take people out if you're not going to pay off the angles? Fun match. Yeah, it was a great match. The match, it was the best match on the show. I mean, it was a lot of fun. They told a good story. The only thing is, I would say, is they have a match on Sunday or Saturday with the Bucks and the Jurassic Express, and this match had nothing to do with that. Nothing.
Correct.
Yeah. Like, I mean, they did an angle after, which, I mean, it was basic. Like, there was, it had nothing to do with the storyline they've been telling. The Bucks attacked, and then they stopped short of attacking Kenny.
Okay.
Well, Kenny was actually.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Kenny was outside the ring watching the attack. Finally, he gets into the ring to make the save, but then Matt wouldn't touch Kenny. And then Luchasaurus took both the Bucks out with a lariat, and Perry took out the whole Callis family with a dive, and that was that. So we've got the Bucks and Kenny. They won't touch each other. So are they friends? We don't know. They better not be.
There's a lot of, and I'll try and get all this in here because this is a lot like Tony Khan, to be honest with you. When you have ideas and you want to get it out there, but you don't really have a story just yet, but you want to say the idea and you'll figure it out later. This is what they did with Andrade. We have Andrade. Let's get him out there. We're going to have a feud with Kenny, whatever. Okay. He attacks. We don't do a follow-up. Uh-oh. And then we go to the other thing. We're doing the other stories, which we do have things for, and we don't want to hit them that hard. We don't want to hit the Jurassic Express versus Bucks thing that hard. So we'll do it in the version of a 6-man match. That means nothing for this pay-per-view, which doesn't get people excited for, but we'll have the Bucks show up afterwards. And that'll remind people that we're doing the match on Saturday. And it's the worst of both worlds. Like, we have this great story and we don't follow up on it. And then we do follow up on it 3 months later, and all our fans will come out and say it's long-term storytelling. Fine. And then we do have this story. Oh, but we don't want to hit the story beats that hard. We got to be subtle about this somehow. Why? You don't need to be subtle about it. No, it's not AEW has too many stories. It's they don't want to tell stories. They don't know how to tell them, is what I'm saying, is they don't have the outline. They have the first beat and they have the last beat, but they don't have everything else in between.
The meat. Yeah. Fernando has a thing here. Kenny Omega and the Bucks are getting back together very soon. I mean, they probably are, but that makes no sense. Like,
I thought they were getting together. I thought it was going to be them and Ibushi in the men's blood and guts if they do a men's blood and guts.
Well, except Ibushi's hurt, so now you can't do that.
I know that, but it felt like, okay, we're going to get the entire. Oh, look, all your favorites who you like and stuff, they're back together. Hangman, Ibushi, Omega, and the Bucks. Look at that, isn't that cool?
I have a feeling, like for some reason, I feel like we're going to get Kenny Omega and Jack Perry against the Young Bucks, and Jack Perry is going to turn on Kenny in that match.
Oh, I had it the other way, possibly. I had Kenny possibly turning on Kenny,
turning on Jack. Oh, you could do that too, yeah.
But I don't think he becomes heel. I think they want to turn the Bucks babyface, so it has to be. Perry's been a heel all along.
If they're trying to turn the Bucks babyface, they're doing a really bad job of it.
You know where the heeldom comes through? It comes through his control of Luchasaurus.
Could be.
Because he said he wanted to tell a darker story with the Jurassic Express.
What, in an interview or something?
Yes.
All right. We got next Sky Blue and Jamie Hayter, and this match. I mean, there was a reason for this match. I will give him that.
Yes. Yes. Because you take out the red shirt on the weird triangle.
That said, Excalibur was hammering home the fact that weeks ago on Collision, that Jamie Hayter challenged the Triangle of Madness to Blood and Guts match.
Yes.
Now I watched that show. Not very many other people did. The first thing that happened after she challenged her was Tekla nodded her head and was all excited, and everyone got excited that we're getting a Blood and Guts match. Now Excalibur claims that they have not accepted this match yet, even though they're selling tickets for it. November 12th in Boston, I believe.
Oh no, I want that. We have a Blood and Guts cage, but no Blood and Guts match. So we're gonna throw. It's gonna be the Acclaimed and Jet Speed and Swirl. The Swirl. We'll put them in there. And
GOA. Why not? GOA. Let's put them in.
We'll put like the Ring of Honor roster in there or something like that, because they're the
let's do GOA and Ricochet and Max Caster and Anthony Bowens on one side, and on the other side we'll do the Hurt Syndicate and Action Andretti and Leo Rush. Booker of the Year. Woohoo!
No, he's got to look around. Go, okay, whose plane got here on time? All right.
No. I mean, we're gonna get like I think I may have been a little off when I predicted the teams, because I actually think that Tony and Chris are probably going to be on this match, but I don't know that.
Is it going to be can they coexist situation?
Perhaps, or
Hayter, Chris, Tony, Willow, or is it going to be 4-on-4? Or 5-on-5?
No, maybe. Megan and Penelope on the other team,
and then Megan, Penelope, and the three weirdos. Yeah.
So TJ, sorry, you don't make the cut. No, but you're going for those tag team titles because you're the original tag team. Even though I watched Diamante and whoever her partner was, Ivelisse win the inaugural Brandy Bowl to win the AEW Women's Tag Team Trophy, not belt. Anyways, this match was not good.
I'm here for Ivelisse and Tessa Blanchard somehow putting their differences aside and being the most hated tag team in wrestling.
Actually, you know what? This match was fine. I mean, it was
fine.
Bad. Yeah, they went through a commercial. The problem was the crowd heat. Like, they didn't really care. They got into it late when Jamie was on offense. Hayter hit her with a fall-away slam on the floor, which looked like it killed both ladies, and the crowds didn't respond to it, which kind of sucked. Then they go back in the ring, and Jamie Hayter hit a neck breaker and a lariat, and I thought that was going to be it. And then Sky Blue kicks out, and then Jamie takes off her elbow pad, starts kissing her biceps. A few fans started to chant, "This is awesome." And when I say a few fans, like, it was not many, and the chant died quickly. Then Sky hits like a sliced bread in the middle of the ring. And then she went for something off the ropes, but Hayter hit her with a lariat and then with Haterade, which apparently are two separate moves, even though they look exactly the same. And she got the win. And that was that. And then I got so the match is over. And she's walking around the ring and she's kissing her biceps. Sorry, said
I love Jamie Hayter. Can I just
so
say
she's
that?
kissing her biceps, and I'm like, okay, an angle's coming. And Julie and Sky slink off, and the camera follows them for a little bit. And I kind of know, oh, there's no Tekla. And then the music keeps playing, and Jamie's pacing around. And then finally, after like a minute of this,
they're rewinding the tape.
Yeah, Tekla's on the video wall, and she cut a great promo.
Yes.
She says, "Congratulations, Jamie. Not to you, to me. I was misunderstood in Europe. I was kicked out of Japan. The reason I attacked you in May, you were there. Wrong place, wrong time. Now you are again. My game has no rules. My name means chaos. My name means poison. On Saturday, it's going to get toxic to the core. So come on, Jamie. Come on, impress me." And the video's over, and Jamie just no-sold it. Her music plays some more. She's kissing her biceps some more. Sky and Jamie are still walking away, taking them forever. Jamie's taunting them. And then it was over. It was weird. I love the promo, but it was a weird segment.
All right, random randomness. Number one, Jamie Hayter's theme will always put me in a good mood.
Okay.
Number two, I need Sky Blue to have another look. I don't think she looks good like this. I would much rather she get something that looks a little bit like what Julia Hart just did, getting out of the witch thing and getting into more Lita type stuff. That I think would be a cool look with her. She could kind of go back to bad Cora Jade, and I don't mean that derivatively this time. I mean this as a good thing. She, I think that kind of look would work for her. And also, Mystery Science Theater Jeff watching the Tekla promo. She goes, "Been around the world," and I go, I can't find my baby. I just. But no, Tekla. Tekla. Baby. Lisa Stansfield, I believe. Tekla, sneaky good promo. Sneaky good promo. She's been good every time they've given her the stick, and I'm like, yes, we should let her talk more because that's what this division needs.
I will say this with very much confidence. There is not one single aspect of pro wrestling that you want in a world champion that Chris Statlander has over Tekla.
No,
like Tekla would have been 1,000% better choice to win that title in that match that they were in my opinion.
And I'll tell you
something. The only thing I would say is she's not as well known to the AEW audience, but that actually might be a positive.
The crazy gimmick works for her, though.
Yes,
because as they keep reminding, I got kicked out of Stardom because I attacked the promoter. I'm like, yes, so that should lead to something. Should lead to her attacking Tony Khan at some point. To be honest,
because it works
so
well.
She doesn't get
Jack
away.
Perry.
Well, it's a little different. I mean, Tony getting beat up by a girl would be no. But it gives her that. I mean, it continues to give her the aura.
She could take out a ring announce like a backstage interview girl or something.
She needs what she needs to do is continue the aura of danger.
Yeah,
this person is somebody kind of like. And look, this is a bad 1-to-1 comparison, so don't jump down my throat, guys, about this. But like Abdullah the Butcher, when you bring him into a territory and he'd just be so random. Like Gary Hart would be talking, try to eat the microphone while he's doing that. That's the kind of crazy we need in this division. Kind of.
Can I do some fantasy booking?
Abdullah the Butcher versus Tekla. I'm here for it.
No. So we have a match. Maybe this is like a month or two down the road. That's set up between Tekla and Mercedes Moné for one of her 19 belts.
You got me.
And they do a segment backstage with Renee interviewing the two of them. And you know how Renee is always buddy with Mercedes. And we're actually going to recap that interview in a second. So she's there and she immediately at the beginning says, I want to remind everyone that you two have promised no physicality, right? And they both agree to that. So Mercedes starts in on her promo. She's doing her nonsense that she always does. And Renee is participating in it. And Tekla is fuming. watching this pandering that this interview person is doing with Mercedes. And then they finally get to her and she says, Renee, can I ask you a question? Yes, of course. No physicality. That's between me and her, right? And Renee says, yep. And then Tekla says, oh, great. I just wanted to clarify that. And then she beats the living shit out of Renee. Like,
you look, hold on. But I like the idea. But it has to be one of those Nikita attacks David Crockett type angles where everybody takes it seriously. Like, including Moxley. Like
Moxley she chokes has her out. Sell it. Yeah.
You know, and it's one of those things where it's like, you know, maybe you're even crossing a few kayfabe lines in there, but everybody, it has to resonate. It can't just be, oh, what we saw was horrible right there. Let's go to this match between.
We almost need a follow up with Renee. Renee pissed off at Tony Khan. Like, how can you let this happen to me? I'm not here. I'm not a wrestler. Like,
right.
Yeah.
It has to be played straight as opposed to, oh, it's just pro wrestling and this is an angle for heat type of a thing.
Yeah. But I just kind of like, you know, and then that would also play off the fact that they always do this, like, oh, no physicality. And then she can say, oh, that's between me and her, but not between me and you.
I wouldn't even do that. I would just not even mention that and just have her do it.
Yeah, you could do that.
Like, don't even say anything. Just do it. Because she's crazy. Yeah. No, I'm good.
And it would also be frustrating to watch her do what she did in this next segment, which was Renee Paquette with 10 belts Monet. And she does her CEO. And she says, Renee, you can refer to me as the greatest of all time, the ultimate Monet. And Renee says, huge congratulations. You tied Ultimo's record in Denmark. And she mentioned the name of the title that she won. And she says, I'm not here to break records. I'm here to smash them. But Renee, slow the hell down. I got a match on Friday for my CMLL championship against Persephone. And what's Friday going to be, Renee? And Renee says, 509 days as TBS champion, the longest reign of all time. And Mercedes says, yeah, I love not having to do the work. I love not having to do the math. She says, but your champion will be making her way to WrestleDream. And then I pointed out, that's weird because she's got no match. And then she says, time to celebrate. So I don't know. Does that mean, are they doing a championship celebration on WrestleDream or something? I don't know. But maybe she's going to watch that Tekla and Jamie match and challenge the winner. Like, I don't know. Or the winner will challenge her. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see Tekla and Mercedes. You know, Mercedes is going for her 11th belt on Sunday here in Winnipeg.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not going.
I've seen that because some people got really upset that nobody cares about that belt. I live
Winnipeg Pro Wrestling belt. You know, I wonder why.
So Ultimo Monet.
Yeah, Ultimo Monet. Why did just Ultimo Monet would be better?
Well, you know the joke there is, well, it's better that Mercedes drags on and on and on. I hated this promo. I hate these promos. It does nothing for Mercedes other than
I don't like the way Renee acts in these promos either. Like,
I don't either. It's a little too journalist getting too close to the subject for me in a little ways, but Mercedes is a heel playing a baby face, and it's continuing to undermine what she's trying to do here to me.
Oh, I know why they're not talking about that match in Winnipeg. You know who she's wrestling, right?
Is it Jody Threat?
It is. And you know who she works for?
TNA.
Yes. And you know who works with TNA?
WWE.
Yeah, there you go. That might be the reason.
Yeah,
that might also be the reason why Jody Threat wasn't on Team TNA last week in that Showdown show.
It's a possibility, but she was on the pay-per-view still. So, but I guess WWE
on the pay-per-view, yeah, but she's not going to be on WWE television right before she's going to lose to Mercedes.
Well, that's all right. We'll just put all the old WWE people on there and not tell you that they have.
Oh, she was on the pay-per-view. She was seconding the ring announcer in the worst match I've seen on pay-per-view in about 10 years.
Well, no, she got clotheslined during the Battle Royal on the pay-per-view.
Oh, did she? Okay. Oh, actually, sorry. It wasn't the worst. Well, it was the worst match I've seen on pay-per-view in about 10 years for about a half an hour till I saw a worse match. That freaking Indy Hartwell, Kalani Jordan match. Oh my God, that was horrible. LFI and the Ops. Main event of Dynamite here. And so LFI in this occasion was Roosh, Dralistico, and Beast Mortos. Sammy was at ringside. Crowd didn't really care about this before the commercial. They got into it a little bit more after the break, specifically when Powerhouse Hobbs hit a World's Strongest Slam. Then he tagged in Joe. Joe ran wild, hit a senton on Dralistico for 2, hit a power slam for 2. They cut to Hangman, and Excalibur asked him, you're scouting Joe here. Do you notice anything? And Hangman says, I see no weaknesses in Samoa Joe. That was the most profound thing he said on commentary in this whole match. Shibata cleared the ring. Dralistico was on the apron. He was on the ring, on the top of the ring post, and Joe was on the mat, just lying down. And I thought for sure, like, he was going to get up and give him a, whatever that movie does, the what's the Muscle Buster, and it never happened. And then Dralistico just climbed down, hit a corkscrew, went back to the top, and then he did a jump, and Joe caught him, stinked in the Coquina clutch, and got the tap out. It was basically a squash match. Like, the LFI didn't get hardly any offense in here. It was weird.
Roosh did. Dralistico got nothing, which was good. Mordos is there to be a big man who looks good bumping, but this match missed the forest from the trees in many ways. And I won't say many ways, but in the two most important ones. Number one, Hobbs is in there against all 3 LFI guys. Was it Hobbs or was it Shibata? It might have been Shibata as well. And Joe's just standing there on the apron cheering. Yep. It's like, why aren't you going in there and helping him?
Because they didn't need his help.
Well, no. It was because we just wanted the hot tag spot where he clears house, and that's fine. That's not even the most egregious thing. The most egregious thing is, of course, Hangman Adam Page in this match, who is set there to come out and to build his feud with Joe, and then proceeds to not build it on commentary. Even when Excalibur, because in the back of my head is going, what he should be doing at every moment is talking about weaknesses in Joe or things that he's seeing right now that he could help strategize, or at least putting over Joe. And their decision was Excalibur feeds him the question. I don't see any weaknesses.
At the very least, he could have said, this man has so little respect for me that he took a title match 3 days before our thing. Yeah.
Look, I don't want the opposite, which is the WWE way, which is Joe can't concentrate on the 6-man match.
Right. Yeah.
This was fine, but it is the whole purpose, because what they decided to do instead was the prop stuff, which is, Joe sees the belt and then he hands it back to the belt doesn't matter in this feud as much as who the best is. This is one of those feuds where you can actually do that. And they did the up. I'm just like, why isn't he saying, man, he might tire himself out during this match? Cardio is going to be a big thing because we're both so good and we're both so concentrated. What he needs he's
facing a former Ring of Honor world champion in Roosh.
As a heel.
Yeah.
It's easier because all he has to do is cut down him as a babyface. I get that it's more difficult as a babyface. Okay, so what you sit down in a production meeting and you go, what point do you want to get across for this match, Tony? And Tony will say, I want you to get Joe over as an almost unbeatable monster. And then you book the match so that Joe's an unbeatable monster as opposed to just getting the hot tag and getting the pin. Okay? Or he's going to be the guy who gets the hot tag and gets a pin. You have Adam going there. Well, he's not getting much of a workout here. He might be a little bit, rusty going into that match, etc. Just something to build the fight. That's all I want. And
there was nothing.
Instead he's doing a joke with Daniel, and then Excalibur tees him up. Just the seeing any weaknesses here that you might be able to use or take any information you might be able to take with you? Nope.
Yeah. And meanwhile, like, there was that spot where Joe was lying in the ring for a while, and they could have played that up like he's tired, but no. So after the match,
because he basically called him fat in that back and forth promo, he should be kind of alluding to it here, you know.
So after the match, LFI attacked, and so in the middle of this attack, like Hangman isn't even trying to help, even though it's 4-on-3. But then Bruce spit at Hangman, and then that was too much for Hangman. He yelled at him. Then he put his belt down, took off his jacket very slowly, goes to the ring.
How is he the baby face here? That's the thing, is he's waiting to go in there because, well, they're beating up the guy I'm going to face on Sunday. And then Roosh decides to spit at him. And then I just love Hangman. Did you spit at me? Like, yes, he spit at you, dumbass. Go in there and beat him up. You know?
And then he's like, well, this has been fun, but I got to leave. And then, so he takes his time.
Straight out of WWE, where he's taking his time, taking off the stuff. And then he takes his belt with him for the fight.
So takes his belt with him, took out all of LFI by himself. And he's about to hit Roosh with a buckshot. And then Sammy pulled him out of the ring. And then while that was going on, Joe saw Hangman's belt lying there, so he picks it up.
I thought he was taking the belt as a weapon, but no, he's taking it just to set it down there on the apron. So we have that dumbass spot.
Gets into, stares off with Hangman and then shoves him a little bit. And that was that.
Yeah.
So, So, and then just very quickly, I do have the results of Collision here. Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly versus Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia.
I watched it.
And the Death Riders won. And then there was something that happened after the match. So the Death Riders beat on Cassidy and O'Reilly. Roderick Strong and Tomohiro Ishii made the save. Darby's music hits. Darby came staggering in, walking like a zombie. Got destroyed by Claudio and Pac. Then Claudio Garcia and Yuta. And then Shafir. And Allin wouldn't quit, raised his hand on the apron, pulled himself in the ring, got in Moxley's feet, and Allin pulled out the AEW flag, and then he said, "I'll never say I quit." So hopefully they don't record that and play it on Saturday. And Moxley laid out Allin with a Death Rider on the flag, as you mentioned earlier. And so doctors checked on Allin, and he was smiling. We got FTR coming out with Megan Bayne for a match with Harley Cameron. I assume Megan won this. Yep, she beat her. Eddie Kingston and Hook did a promo talking about LFI and Eddie. Then we got Brodito and Mark Briscoe against Kyle Fletcher, Lance Archer, and Rocky Romero. 6-man party match. Mark Briscoe and Brodito won when Kingpin Romero. So that was that. So WrestleDream. Do a little preview here before we go. Hangman Page and Samoa Joe for the world title.
Page wins and they shake hands afterwards.
I think that's probably right. And maybe we even get a setup for whatever the next feud's going to be. Moxley, Darby, Allin.
Nobody really wants Hobbs and Hangman, and I don't think that's going to happen. But I think, okay.
That'd be cool.
Go ahead.
John Moxley and Darby Allin I Quit match. I think Darby has to win, right?
Darby has to win this.
Yeah. So we'll see. And then if John Moxley actually quits, then maybe hopefully we see the end of the Death Riders.
The only way I could see John Moxley possibly winning this is if the next step is then loser leaves AEW.
Could they do the lame? Both of them. Could they do the lame thing like the Rock McFoley thing where they recorded Darby saying I quit?
Something's going to have to happen. Somebody's going to throw in a towel. Nobody's going to say actually. It has to be the ending. Has to be John Moxley saying I quit.
It does.
That's the only thing it has to be. And if they don't do it, it's a failure.
If they do that lame recording of Darby Allin saying I quit, like people might revolt. Like that would be really bad. Statlander and Tony for the AEW Women's World Title. I actually think Tony's going to win the title back.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Because they want to do the 5-timers club gimmick.
God.
She's going to have the SNL jacket with 5 timers on it.
There's no way in hell Tony can win this title back here.
Okay, well, we're different on that one then. Brodito and Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita. I want to see Brody turn on Bandito, and he's going to be the one that's going to challenge Hangman next as a killer heel. So then we actually get Okada.
No, I don't think you get the breakup of them. I think you get the breakup of the other team. I think you get the Okada Takeshita finally setting the stage there.
Okay. Jurassic Express and the Young Bucks for $500,000. I couldn't care less who wins this. They've given me no reason to care. Like, right?
Jurassic Express should win this, but I get the feeling they're not.
Well, shouldn't the Bucks get some money so we can do some more funny skits?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking, man, and I think that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, but I think it's what's happening. Hurt Syndicate and the Demand in a Tornado Trios tag. Well, obviously the Hurt Syndicate's winning after Shelton Benjamin took a pin.
I don't understand this match, and I don't care. It's one of these things where are we just going to keep trading wins forever?
Oh, is it another Tornado Trios? Did they announce that? It's a Tornado Trios now?
I don't remember that, but okay.
That's what it says here on Wikipedia and F4W. So they must have here. Okay. No, I don't know when they changed that, but they did change it. And Tekla and Jamie Hayter. Tekla's got to win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she doesn't.
No,
she doesn't have to win, because I could see something where they're going to make Hayter the chaser for the world title if it's either Tony or Stat. But okay, no, let's go with Tekla winning and then being the next for that title. How about that?
I think so, yeah. Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe for the TNT title. Kyle. Mark. I think Mark's going to win.
Briscoe, because you don't want Kyle on Collision anymore.
No. Although, and you probably want Kyle challenging for that world title at some point too. Like a rematch. All right, and then we got the tailgate brawl as well. So Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron against Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. We're not going to do predictions here. FTR and Jet Speed. Eddie Kingston and Hook in action. So I thought we were going to get an Eddie Kingston.
They're facing the swirl. They are facing the swirl. There is no way that the other team on the other side is not the swirl for that match.
You don't think it could be the varsity athletes?
It could be them.
Or the booze cruise, those guys.
Oh God, the fraternity.
Win or lose, we always booze.
Yes. Okay, never mind. It's squash and Squasherson.
Or it could be that cha-cha cruise for that dude's name.
Okay, I'll watch another tailgate brawl. This time there aren't as many people, so I'll watch.
No, these are all tailgate brawls, by the way.
What?
Every one of these matches is called a tailgate brawl.
This is like Lockdown, where everything's a cage match. Okay.
The Conglomeration against the Death Riders. So it's Orange Cat. So you're wondering why we were getting Claudio and Roderick Strong. Well, here's your answer. Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, and Tomohiro Ishii. God bless him, Ishii, getting another payday. Against Claudio, Pac, Wheeler, and Daniel Garcia. So that's your show.
Yuta takes the loss.
Yeah, and they have been very clear to point out, by the way, that hour before the pay-per-view is Collision. Tony Schiavone mentioned that a ton. They want you to know that that's Collision and not a pay-per-view pre-show.
Correct, because people won't tune into a pay-per-view pre-show thinking nothing's going to happen on there.
Yeah, but we also know that nothing's going to happen on Collision either. So I will watch Collision, but I don't think I'm going to make a point of watching it before the pay-per-view. So that's that. I don't sense this show's going to do any great business, but it'll probably do the same 120,000 they always do. And so we'll find out.
Virginia plays a mid-afternoon evening game, so I won't be watching live.
And I think games. No Blue Jays game that day.
Travel day.
Travel day. So. And I don't know what happened in tonight's game. I only saw the first half inning, so I'm gonna watch that now.
Okay, darn.
Yeah. So there might not even be a game Friday, depending on what happens. So
true.
All right. So Jeff, get your plugs in. I understand your show's gonna be back.
Shake them ropes. The return to 1.0 as Rob McCarran decided to rejoin the show for 1 week before he goes on vacation, and Paul takes over for him for a week. This week we'll go through this whole Ridge Holland hullabaloo. Any other news that happens in the next 24 hours, as well as ice cold thoughts on Perth. But I let Rob pick a Vader Club, and he picked Mankind versus Kane, Hell in a Cell from Raw in 1998. I watched it during Dynamite. It was interesting. We'll see why. But yes, we'll see what Rob has been up to. We'll reintroduce you guys to who Rob is. It's a different dynamic. It's a more, I won't say more fun dynamic. It's a different dynamic. Let's put it that way. The jokes are different now. So come on back, please.
But that he's the original co-host with you, right?
Yes, he's the creator of the show. Yeah.
When I met Rob, that was how I was introduced to him. Actually, you guys had just started the podcast, I believe.
Yeah, we had just started. That was back in 2012, I think.
Something like that. Yeah. When Damien was there and he was in a sling. Remember that year?
Sling. Yeah. Wasn't married with kids.
Yeah. No. In fact, he got drunk and got bullied into calling her. They had broken up. Yeah.
All right, let's wrap up the show. Go.
All right. So, and I'll be back. So I got a lot to plug, actually. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a podcast with, I can't remember the name of it, but check out my Twitter. I'll definitely retweet it. It's with this guy, Dr. Lariat, who interviews a lot of wrestling personalities. And apparently he wants to talk to me. So that's cool. He had Wei Ting on his show this week, and now he wants me. So that's cool. And then I'm also doing the Fight Game podcast with Garrett tomorrow evening. We're going to be on the F4W YouTube network doing a live show, so that'll be cool. And we'll be talking about previewing WrestleDream, talking about Crown Jewel and Bound for Glory and all that. And then the Takedown with Garrett next Monday. So I got a busy weekend coming up. And in a couple weeks, 3 weeks, I might be off. We'll talk. I'm going to be in Vegas. I might do the show. I don't know. We'll see. So anyways, for Jeff Hawkins, I've been Paul Fontaine, and this has been the Dynamite Show. Been around.